Okay, we are all set to go. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being so patient. My name is Nia Murray. I am the programs coordinator with Neighborhood Recovery Community Development Corporation, and we are here for the a month of service presentation of debt management, getting free. We have included in our partnership as well is the City of Houston's Department of Neighborhoods, and joining us today we have Ms. Rachel Gutierrez. Also, on behalf of our presenting sponsor, we have Monet Cheney with Family Houston, who will be providing the information for you this afternoon about debt management and getting free. But also included in the partnership, we have the Harris Central Appraisal District, Harris County Tax Assessor Collector's Office, the Earl Carl Institute, Houston Bar Association, Houston Volunteer Lawyers, Texas Legal Services Center, and Lone Star Legal Aid. And together we make up a month of service. And basically, what a month of service is the collaboration of all 9 different organizations. We come together on a monthly basis and offer a variety of different workshops, resources, and information to the community relative to asset building, asset protection, community empowerment, and the maintaining of generational wealth. And included in that series is the Money, Health, and Wealth Financial Capability Series that kind of goes over a variety of different financial matters, whether it includes debt management, about savings, holiday spending, credit, understanding your relationship with money, a variety of different things that we offer throughout the year that's included in the series. So we want to thank you guys and welcome you for coming this afternoon. Um, Ms. Monet is a financial coach with Family Houston, who has been one of the supporters and sponsors of the Money, Health, and Wealth Financial Capability Series for the last several years. But we included it into the A Month of Service partnership so that way we can, create a larger impact, reach more people, get as much information out to the community. And that was basically the goal of the collective when all of the organizations decided to come together, was to try to create a larger impact and reach as many people as we possibly can and get as much information out to the community as we can, for regardless of whatever the topic or the particular information that is. So if there are currently, Bailey says hello to everybody. But if regardless of whatever information it is that you guys need, if we don't currently offer it, if you could please feel free to reach out to Rachel or myself, and we will see what we can do about getting it planned to be offered to you all. So, for that being said, information that is presented here today is for educational purposes. If you do find yourselves in need of some specific or particular situation, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Cheney directly for more one-on-one assistance, and she'll get into a little bit more information about the services and how to contact her as well. But if you have particular questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. Or if you are joining us on Facebook, please feel free to type them into the comment section, and we will make sure that it gets read aloud at the end. We do ask that you try to keep your questions to be as general as you possibly can, as to not divulge any personal or detailed information about your particular situation, because we want to try to protect your privacy as much as we possibly can. So we don't want your personal information kind of getting out there for everybody to have access to. So do keep that in mind when you are asking questions. However, this is an opportunity. You have a free financial coach here at your fingertips that you guys can ask whatever questions that you like related to the topic here today. Please be as engaging as you'd like to be. With that being said, again, we're going to go ahead and start with our introductions, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Rachel, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nia. Good afternoon, everyone. As Nia mentioned, my name is Rachel Gutierrez. I'm a Community Outreach Coordinator for the Department of Neighborhoods, Office of Neighborhood Engagement. On behalf of our Mayor Whitmire, and our Department Director, Director Sims, we welcome you to the A Month of Service program. We want to thank our partners for their time to volunteer to be able to put this information on, free information for the communities that we serve here in Houston and surrounding cities. And also it does apply to people in the state for some of the information. So we thank you to the partners, and thank you, the community, for being involved and engaging with us. We always want to make sure that we stay on top of the latest trends, the latest changes in financial sector and the legal sector and things like that, in the political sector. So whatever information that we receive is, we try to make sure that's the most accurate and the most current. So please know that the information that we give to you, it's vital for obviously the current situations that we're in or we're facing today. Please continue to engage with us and also refer your friends, family, people that you encounter on a day-to-day basis that you feel may be able to use this information for themselves or for maybe a loved one or someone they know. It's all about, getting the information out there. The more you talk about it, the more individuals are able to tune in and receive what they need. So thank you again for tuning into today. And obviously we have additional workshops for the month. So continue on tuning in, and we appreciate it. You have a nice rest of your evening.
All right, Ms. Monet.
Hi, my name is Monet Cheney. I'm a financial coach with Family Houston. I am going to go in a little bit more detail at the end of the presentation on what we do with financial coaching at Family Houston. So to get started, today we're going to be going over debt management and just creating a plan to get out of debt.
Monet, you're on presentation view. Swap your screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Let me hold on one second. Let me reset it. I have dual screens, so I think that's why it does it like that.
Okay, you're good now.
Okay, everything looks good. Okay.
Yep.
All righty. Just some learning objectives for today is we're going to learn how to get started with a debt management plan. Understanding how to use the debt snowball strategy to become debt free, and then learn ways to manage future debts. So a few months ago, we did have a presentation just going over the basics of credit, but I do just want to go over a few little basics about credit, because these do pertain to you starting a debt management plan and getting out of debt. Just in case if you missed the previous presentation where we talked about the basics of credit. But whenever you are going to start paying off debts and becoming debt free, you're going to always want to review your credit report. There are 3 credit reporting agencies, so TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you get a copy of all 3 reports, because not all creditors report to all 3 credit bureaus. So, and you're going to want to know like all of your creditors and everybody you owe across all 3. Also, you're going to want to make sure that there's no errors. And even if it's a creditor that report to all 3, you want to make sure that all that information is matching and consistent across all 3 credit bureaus. If not, then you're going to have to consider sending verification letters as well as disputing any errors on your credit report. But your credit report is the history of your interactions with creditors for the last 7 to 10 years. And then also your credit score. So as you're going through to repair and pay off debts, your credit score is going to be affected. And that credit score is based, the number based on the information in your report and your likelihood to pay back lenders. So when you're going through a debt management plan to pay off debts, it is good to understand how long does debts affect your credit history. because this will kind of help you determine how you want to go about taking care of particular debts on your credit report and the decisions you make when it comes to whether or not you want to pay them off in full, settle, or just wait for them to fall off your credit report. So there are rules that are put in place by the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and this rule states that all negative information must be removed from your credit report 7 years from the first delinquency date. So the first delinquency date is the date in which your creditor have reported that account delinquent. Now, of course, if you start making payments again on that account, then that delinquency date is going to be reset. So any negative information that's on your credit report is going to remain on there 7 years from the first delinquency date. Chapter 7 bankruptcy filings, that information is going to be under public records for 10 years on your credit report. Anytime you're sued by a company or individual and you have judgments on your credit report, then those remain for 7 years or until the state statute of limitation expires, whichever is longer. And then anytime you owe money to the government, so this can be unpaid taxes or student loan debt, that stays on your credit report indefinitely, or until 7 years from the date paid. So once those debts are completely paid off and closed, then they will fall off 7 years from that date that they have been paid off. And then just to go back over like the credit score, the credit score ranges from 300 to 850. 640 is normally the credit score range to which you'll start being eligible to get approved for most creditors. This number helps lender determine what type of borrower you are. So it helps them determine like your payment history, how much credit you're using, how long you've had credit open. Do you have a good mix of credit? So do you have installments or do you have revolving credit? And then how often are you applying for credit? And are you getting approved? So that's where the inquiries come in. Inquiries are anytime you apply for credit and there's a hard pull of your credit report. So there are ways where you can get your FICO score for free. So Experian's website, they do offer Experian FICO score for free. MyFICO.com offer the Equifax score for free. Sometimes your bank might provide a FICO score from one of the credit bureaus. And then if you have credit cards, you can check with your credit card company because they might offer a FICO score from one of the 3 credit bureaus. But the reason why I'm bringing up the credit score, because your credit score can play into your debt management plan and play into you wanting to become debt free. Because of course, if as you are paying off debts, especially credit card debt, it can help improve your credit score, as well as if you do the wrong thing, it can affect your score in a negative way. And then also your credit score might come into play when you're wanting to qualify for certain options to help you pay your debts off faster. So now we're going to get into becoming debt free and just kind of going over how to create a debt management plan to become debt free, as well as I'll go over some options that you can look into to help you along the way. So firstly, I want to discuss why is it important to become debt free. One reason is it does increase there's an increase in disposable income that can go towards savings or wants. So as you are paying debts off, you're eliminating those monthly payments that you were putting towards credit cards or loans that you've had. And so as you pay those debts off, that's freeing up money in your budget that can go towards other expenses. Preferably savings, because you always want to increase your savings, but otherwise it can go towards any other expenses that you want to use it towards. So it does increase that cushion in your budget that you can use towards other expenses. Second, improved credit score and credit history. So again, like I mentioned before, as you pay down credit card debt, you're going to see an increase in your credit score. Sometimes when you pay off a loan in full, it does like drop your score a little bit, but you can regain that credit score by paying other debts on time, as well as paying down your credit cards. So if you do have credit card debt, you want your credit card balances to be under 30% of your total credit limit. So a lot of times when people decide to become debt-free, most of the time they're highly focused on credit card debt, because credit card debt can affect your score heavily if you have very high credit card debt. So you're wanting to get your balances under 30% or completely paid off. Also, credit card debt has some of the highest interest rates compared to personal loans and student loans. So a lot of people wanted to eliminate that as well. So as you're paying credit cards off and paying down your credit balances, you'll start seeing improvement in your credit score, because you're getting those balances under 30% of the total limit, as well as you're making on-time payments as you're paying off debts. And that's going to help your credit score go up as well because of those on-time payments. Next is the lower debt to income ratio. So if you're looking towards buying a home, or you just want a lower debt to income ratio, period, as you're paying off debts, you're eliminating those monthly payments, which is going to lower your debt to income ratio. So in the future, if you're wanting to purchase a home or even apply for other forms of credit, having a lower debt to income ratio is going to help with eligibility of getting approved. And then lastly, less stress and less financial burdens. So having a lot of debt and can cause a lot of stress for some people, especially when you're living paycheck to paycheck and it's not enough funds in the budget to really cover all your expenses. So paying off debts, it just reduces those obligations that you have to pay each month. It can reduce stress of having to figure out how to stay on top of those obligations, as well as you're not burdened with that debt anymore. So now, here are some ways to get started. So first, look at your credit reports and make a list of everything that you owe. So in an earlier slide, I stated that it's very important to understand your credit report and reviewing your credit report. Again, you want to review all 3 credit reports, because not all creditors report to all 3 credit reports. So you want to make sure that you have a list of all creditors across all 3 reports and know exactly how much you owe to each creditor. If you feel like an amount or a creditor on your credit report might be incorrect, or maybe you don't remember that particular debt, You can always send a verification letter to the creditor or collection agency to ask for verification of the debt. So you'll want verification of how much you owe, as well as if you owe that debt, just to make sure you're not paying off things that might be an error on your credit report. Next, add debts that are not on your credit report. So do you owe anything outside of your credit report? So this can be family, it can be friends. Maybe you have an old apartment debt that haven't hit your credit report, or maybe you have an old utility bill that you didn't pay off that haven't hit your credit report yet. Medical bills that haven't been reported yet. So make a list of all the debts that either do not report to your credit report or they have not reported yet. So then you'll know like who all you owe, and you make sure that you add those to the list. Then next, take a deep breath. You can get out of this. You don't have to rush your debt payoff plan. Do understand that this can take time. So you don't have to feel, put yourself in a position to feel overwhelmed as you go through the process of becoming debt-free. And then lastly, make a plan. And making a plan is just going to make it a lot easier for you to go through the process and strategize how you want to get out of debt, as well as having a plan is going to keep you on task to completing this goal and becoming debt-free. Okay, so step one to creating a plan. First, you want to, so you definitely want to get organized. So again, you have your list of debts that you want to pay off. You definitely want to separate those into current and delinquent debts. So current is going to be anything that's the payment is current. So you don't owe any past due amounts. Your payment history is on time and current. So these are going to be any current debts, anything that are not considered delinquent on your credit report. And then next, you want to make a list of delinquent bills. So these are anything that's past due, or it can be accounts that's been like defaulted or closed already, and collection accounts. Next, make sure amounts due and balances are up to date. So like I said in the previous slide, you want to verify that the information that you owe is correct. Because if that information is incorrect, then you'll want to dispute that information with the credit bureau and to get it up to date. But also you want to make sure that if you do owe, that you're paying the correct amount. Next, know your budget and how much money you have to eliminate your debt. So in a previous presentation, we did discuss like how to create a budget plan. So you're definitely going to want to see if the monthly payment that you want to make to eliminate debt is going to fit in your current monthly budget. The best way to create a budget plan is to first look at what your income and spending was for an entire month. I would recommend getting accurate information. So to get accurate information about your income and spending is to reference your bank statements or bank transaction history. If you're someone who uses mostly cash, then you're going to want to track your spending and income for a month, just so you can determine if making extra payments towards debts can fit into your current budget. Next on the list is determine if you want to pay off in full, negotiate a settlement, or walk away. So this would this will require some footwork. So you're going to want to determine which accounts that you're going to want to pay off in full or have to pay off in full, because not all creditors will negotiate a settlement. So you'll definitely want to determine which accounts are going to be paid off in full, and then determine which accounts you want to negotiate settlements with. And that's going to mean reaching out to collection agencies and creditors to negotiate settlement options, or do you want to walk away? So walking away basically means you want to wait it out and wait for that debt to fall off in 7 years. Walking away does mean that that information is going to show unpaid on your credit report until it's no longer reporting. So it can, it does look bad for that time being, but it's okay, because if you can't afford to take care of that debt, then that's the option to walk away and let it fall off your credit report. But it also does mean that you still owe it. It's just not going to be reporting on your credit history, and it's not going to be affecting your credit score anymore. Next, consider debt consolidation options. So with debt consolidation option, it's pretty much getting a personal loan to cover multiple smaller balances. You do have to have good credit to qualify. Most offer a pre-approval stage, and then they do a hard pull once you accept the terms of the loan. A debt consolidation option, like I said, it combines multiple debts into one monthly payment. So it does give you the option of one monthly payment and possibly a lower interest rate. For example, if you have 5 credit cards, and all 5 credit cards is 25% interest and higher, and they total up to $6,000, but you qualify for a consolidation loan at 11%. So for $6,000, so you would pay off the $6,000 in credit card debt, and now you have this one payment at a lower interest rate, which can means you can pay off those that credit card debt faster at a lower interest rate. But you have to be careful not to use the credit cards again while paying off the consolidation loan. So it does require some discipline if you decide to go that route, because you definitely don't want to be paying off that old credit card debt through a loan, and also building that credit card debt up again, adding an extra expense. So if you decide to do that, just make sure that you're not using the credit cards at the same time that you're paying the loan off. Next is contact credit card companies to negotiate lower interest rates or a payoff plan. So you can reach out to your individual credit card companies to see if they have options for to pay the debt off. Usually these plans can offer a lower interest rate and a lower monthly payment, but your credit card is going to be closed with this option. Next is get debt counseling through a credit counseling agency. So look into consider a credit counseling agency to help you with creating a debt management plan. The reason why I have Money Management International on here, because they are a nonprofit organization, and we're not sponsored by them, but I just recommend them because I know I've heard good things about them just through the nonprofit financial coaching network, and I know that they are a nonprofit. They don't charge high admin fees. And then they can help you with a debt consolidation plan. If you go through their debt consolidation plan, they do close all your cards, because again, the goal is to pay off your credit card debt in full at a lower interest rate and a lower monthly payment, but not at the same time be racking up the credit card debt again. So they will negotiate lower payments and lower interest on each of your credit cards. And then the cards would, and part of the agreement is that those cards are closed. With the last two options, when you're negotiating a payoff plan with credit card companies, whether you're doing it yourself or you're going through an organization like Money Management International, just be aware that when those cards are closed, it does drop your score a little bit. But again, you can rebuild that credit score. And the reason why I recommend these options is if you know that it's going to be a struggle for you to get out of debt without doing these options, your credit score can always be rebuilt. And like I said, these options can reduce the amount of interest that you're paying over time, as well as it can put you in a position to pay off those debts sooner than later. Then lastly, determine if you need to declare bankruptcy. Bankruptcy should be the very last result. So you shouldn't decide on bankruptcy unless there's no other option that would help you get out of debt. And you will need to seek legal advice. So you would have to hire a lawyer to help you through the bankruptcy process, as well as go through bankruptcy counseling. Are there any questions? I know I've been going pretty fast.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Ms. Perry, you have a question?
Yeah. You mentioned something about a company, or was it like a consumer credit counseling?
Yes, Money Management International.
Oh, Money Management International. I just want to say I use consumer credit counseling service. I'm writing down Money Management, what, International?
Yeah.
Is that Sherry Young?
What?
Is that local?
I don't know. Consumer credit counseling is not, but they worked with me on the phone and they were really good. Very, very helpful. They ended up.
Do you know if they are nonprofit or a for-profit organization?
Well, there was no fee, so I'm assuming it was a non.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. That's
if you could put that in the chat box, because I would like to, because I like to have different options.
okay.
But I would say, like, as you're researching debt counseling agencies, just keep in mind there's for-profit ones and then there's nonprofit ones. Usually the nonprofit ones are going to have either no fees or very, very low fees. And then the for-profit ones are going to have very high fees and interest to help you consolidate debt. And then sometimes they don't want to help you set up a plan unless you have already defaulted on the creditors that you're wanting to pay off. And so this means that if you're someone who has all your credit cards are current and you're paying on time, but you just feel like the interest is too overwhelming, then I would select an organization that would help you with a payoff plan without requesting that you default first. Because usually the ones that want you to default first, they are looking to settle the debt for less in order to cut down on how much you owe. But by the time you add in all their fees and interest that they charge you, you're basically paying the same amount. So earlier I spoke about like just writing out a list of all of your creditors and how much you owe, as well as list out like how do you plan to pay those creditors off, as well as any agreements that you make with any creditors. You also want to take notes of all of those agreements, who you spoke to, when you spoke to them, because you just never know in the future, like once you pay that debt off, like just say for instance, if it's a collection agency and they promise you that they will delete the debt once it's paid off, but they don't. So you definitely want to have documentation of that agreement to show the credit bureau, like, hey, they agreed to take this off my credit report if I paid, and here's the proof. So having, I call it a creditor's arrangement sheet, but you can call it whatever you would like to call it. But having a creditor arrangement sheet just gives you a place to put all the information about all the creditors that you're working on and how you want to go about working on them, as well as you can put contact information, just so you get everything all in one place and you're not going through like different places to find information that you need. And it just makes this whole process a little bit less stressful and more organized. Also, if you're not a spreadsheet person, I would definitely just recommend having like a notebook that you use where you can track everything and have everything written down. Like I said, just in case you need to go back and reference any information, then it's all in one place. Now I want to go over creating a debt snowball plan. I'm not for sure if any of you ever heard of like a debt snowball or a snowball payoff plan. But basically it's a plan to pay debts in order of smallest to largest. So you want to determine the snowball amount to add to your minimum payment. So basically with a debt snowball plan, you're going to add up all of your minimum payments on the debts that you're wanting to pay off. And then you're going to determine an amount that you want to add extra to that total minimum payment amount. And that's going to be your snowball. So for example, all your minimum payments equal $300 a month. So you decide that you want to pay $400 a month towards paying off your debts faster. So that means $100 is going to be your snowball amount. Once you pay, so you're going to choose one debt. So let's just say, for instance, it's 3 debts and it's a total minimum payments is $300. Your snowball amount is $100. So your total debt payment for the month is $400. So you're going to, and just to make the math simple, we're going to say that each minimum payment is $100. So each debt is $100 minimum payment. So for one of the debts, you're going to want to pay $200. And then the other 2 debts, you're going to pay the minimum payment of $100. Once the debt with the snowball amount is paid off, then you want to take that $200 and apply it to debt number 2. So debt number 2, you're going to be paying $300 on that debt. And then debt number 3, you'll be paying the minimum payment of $100. Once debt number 2 is paid off, then you're going to take that $300 and roll it over to debt number 3, and you're going to pay $400 to debt number 3 until debt number 3 is paid off. And if you're following my math, then as you can see, as debts are getting paid off, the next one, that monthly amount is going to slowly increase. So that's where you get that snowball comparison, because with each creditor, as you pay one off, the next one, that monthly payment is going to get higher and higher until all of them are paid off. So so again, you're going to continue transferring that payment on until all debts are paid off. And when you use this this strategy to pay off multiple debts, you actually get them paid off quicker, because your snowball amount is covering that extra payment that you're making should be covering your minimum payment, as well as the interest charges that they add per month. So you do want to make sure that when you're determining your snowball amount, that the snowball amount is going to be more than like that interest, the interest that's being added, because that's going to help pay the debt down faster. Is there any questions about the snowball plan before I move on?
Nothing in the chat just yet.
No.
So just moving on how to create a debt snowball plan. So again, you're going to want to determine how much extra you want to pay towards the debt. Like I said, a rule of thumb that can help you pay it off faster is to look at what your finance charges are each month, and then set your snowball to be either that amount or a little bit more than that amount, and add that with your minimum payment. Because this is going to help cover the interest that's being added, as well as allow that minimum payment to go towards the principal balance of your the debt that you're paying. Next, you're going to list all debts that you want to be in your snowball plan. So you're going to want to know the names, current balances, the interest rates and minimum payments. And then you're going to decide which order you want to pay the debts in. So you don't have to do smallest to largest balance. You can go by highest interest rate to lowest interest rate, or you can customize the order based on whichever debt you want to pay off first, for whatever reason you want to pay those debts off first. Usually when you're doing smallest balance to largest balance, it's a little bit more rewarding because you're seeing things getting paid off fairly quickly, because those small balances are going to get paid off pretty fast when you add that snowball amount in. But again, whatever order works best for you, then you're gonna base your order on which debts that you want to pay off first and last. So I do have a debt reduction calculator tool that I recommend to clients to help them create their debt payoff plan. And pretty much what the calculator does, it tells you the month and year that debt would be paid off. And then it'll let you determine how much you should set your snowball to determine like what amount would pay the debt off the fastest. And then if you want to make extra payments, just say for instance, you create your debt payoff plan and you have a schedule that you're paying, but you come into some extra money. So maybe you get a tax refund or a bonus at work, and you want to apply some of that extra income towards one of your debts. So we like to call that a snowflake. So that's when, like, a snowflake is that you make an extra payment towards a particular debt while you're going through the process of a snowball plan. If you make an extra payment like that, then you definitely want to, and you're using the debt reduction calculator tool, you're definitely going to want to go back and update all of your balances in the debt calculator, because that's going to change the payoff plan, and you're going to want to make those updates so you can create a new plan to see, like, at what point are you going to have that debt paid off, if that makes sense. So this is what the calculator looked like. So the debt reduction calculator that I'm showing right now is from Vertex 42. Vertex 42 is a website that provides free spreadsheets that you can use for different purposes. And I like this one because, like I said, if you're someone who even if you're not like advanced, even if you don't have advanced skills in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, this spreadsheet is very easy to fill in. You don't have to do any formulas or anything. All you have to do is enter your data in, and then it will calculate everything for you. So as you see, you put in the name of your creditor, you put in your current balance, your current interest rates, and your current minimum payments. And then when you see this $219, that's your total minimum payments that you're currently paying. And then that 5209 is the total amount that you owe of all these debts. Then where it says monthly payment, that is the amount you want to put in that you want to pay each month. And this amount is going to include your snowball. So your current minimum payments is $219. But just say, for instance, you want to pay $269 per month. So you want to pay an extra $50 per month. And so you're going to, in this monthly payment cell, you're going to put in the amount that you want to pay, and then it's going to calculate and tell you what your snowball amount is. And I also will let you know that if you're not good with spreadsheets, there's also websites that you can like research websites that actually does the same thing for you, where you just enter your information on the website and it does the same calculations for you. And then just under the snowball is where you select your strategy. So your strategy, when you click on a strategy, is going to give you different options. So one option is to choose smallest to largest. So this is where you pay the smallest balance off to the largest balance. Again, I said this makes you feel a lot more accomplished, and it's more rewarding because smaller balances are going to pay off quicker. And you're going to see those debts being eliminated a lot faster. The next option is based on interest rate. So you can choose whether you want to pay highest to lowest interest rate. And then lastly, you'll have an option to do a custom order. And then if you see just under the strategy, it's pretty much going to tell you how much interest you're going to pay over time, how many months it's going to take you to pay that particular debt off, and then the month and year that the debt is going to be paid off. And then it'll tell you like what your total interest would be over over the full period of time that it would take you to pay off all the debts on your calculator. And then if you click on the next tab on the spreadsheet will be your payment schedule. So pretty much this is telling you how much you need to pay per month towards each creditor until they're all paid off. So earlier when I was giving the example, I used simple math and simple numbers, but in reality, your numbers are not going to be that simple. So that's why this calculator is very beneficial, because it's going to do all the math work for you and let you know like what each monthly payment should be until they're all paid off. And then if you're looking at it, you can just watch all your debts decrease one by one. And you can also see kind of like what that snowball effect kind of looks like, because again, as you're paying off debts, you're going to keep increasing the payments on the next debt until they're all is paid off. So before we end, so once you have reached debt freedom, you're going to want to maintain your credit at this point. So these are some tips just to maintain good credit, as well as if you need to rebuild your credit. These tips can be used to rebuild your credit history as well. Because unfortunately, you do need credit history for several reasons. So it could be maybe at some point you have to buy a new car, or maybe you need to apply for a loan for a big purchase. Again, but at this point, you're already in the position to where you know how credit works and you know how to manage your debts a lot better. Or your credit history does affect your insurance rates. If you don't own your home, your credit history can affect your like your eligibility for new rentals. So it's always good to keep and maintain some credit history, because you just never know when you'll have to use it. So to maintain and build good credit history, again, we're going to go back to the budget, because the budget is the foundation for any financial goal. So develop a budget plan and stick to your budget plan. Make sure that all your expenses is fitting within the monthly income that you earn. Also, if you do wish to open new credit, just understand that credit cards is not an extension of income. It's an extra expense. Next, save money so you're prepared for a rainy day or big purchases. So now that you're debt free, and you have eliminated a lot of those monthly obligation payments, then you can take that money and put it towards your savings. So now you can save up for big purchases to avoid having to use credit on those purchases, as well as you can save up for create an emergency fund. So if there's an emergency, instead of like applying for new credit or using credit cards to cover an emergency, you can just use the cash that you saved from paying off all of those debts. Next, pay your bills on time. So any bills that you have, make sure you're paying all bills on time. And it doesn't matter if it reports to your credit history or not. Utility bills, cell phone bills, rent payments, If you don't pay those on time and you default on them, they can go on your credit report. So just make sure you're paying all your bills on time, because if you entered into a contract to stating that you are going to make a certain monthly payment and you don't make that monthly payment, eventually it can go on your credit report as a collection item. So just make sure that you're paying all your bills on time, regardless if they report to the credit bureau. Next, keep credit card balances low or aim to pay off monthly. So now that you paid off all your credit card debt, and you don't have those high minimum payments or that high balance anymore, now you can use credit the proper way. So you can choose one credit card, and if you use that card, just make sure you're only spending less than 30% of the total limit, or you're paying it off in full. If you feel like you don't have the discipline for that, then you can hold off on using credit cards. But if you're going to use credit cards, especially because that credit card activity is going to help build and maintain your credit score, as well as some credit cards offer benefits like cash back or travel points. But just make sure that if you're going to use credit cards again, that your goal is to pay it off monthly, or keep the balances below 30% of your total credit card limit, because you don't want that credit score to drop, nor do you want to get back into debt with credit cards. Next, check your credit on a regular basis and dispute incorrect information. So check your credit report at least at minimum once a year. I would recommend to check it every quarter of the year, so every 3 months, just in case there's information that you need to dispute. Because it does take time for information to be updated on your credit report. So just make sure that you're checking your credit report on a regular basis to make sure that there's no information on there that's incorrect. And this can kind of help you help determine like if there's any identity theft on your credit report. As well, you want to make sure creditors are reporting correct information. There's only borrow what you can afford to pay back within 30 years. Not 30 years, 30 days. So only borrow what you can afford to pay back within 30 days. So if you do need to get a loan, whether it's a mortgage loan or maybe you have to purchase a car or get a small personal loan, just make sure that that monthly payment fits into your budget, because you want to make sure that you're maintaining on-time payments, because that's going to maintain a good credit score. That's going to maintain a good credit score as well as a good credit history, because it's going to show creditors that you pay on time. Also, when it comes to other expenses that might have a reoccurring monthly payment, make sure those expenses fit into your budget as well, and you're able to make those on-time payments, because again, you do not want to get in a situation to where you default on a monthly payment and then it becomes a collection item on your credit report. Lastly, protect your identity. So just always protect your identity. Be careful who you give your information to, because fixing and repairing your credit after identity theft is a long and stressful process, because you're really going to have to prove to creditors that that was not you. So it's easier to protect your identity versus having to go through the process of repairing your credit after identity theft. So just be careful of phone calls that you receive and individuals over the phone asking you for personal information such as like your social, bank account, credit card numbers, birthdays. So anytime someone calls and you don't recognize the company and they're asking you for information, or if it's a company that you do recognize or have accounts with, understand the reasons why they will call you and understand what information they would ask for. Because your bank is not going to call you and ask for certain information from you. Your credit card company is not going to call you and ask for certain information from you. Same thing with student loan services. They're not going to call you and ask you for certain information. So if someone from those entities are calling you and asking for information that they wouldn't normally ask for, then it could be a scam. So just be careful of like who you're providing information to over the phone, as well as email. So the same thing goes for email. You have scammers who send phishing emails asking for personal information. So understand like what information your creditors will ask for via email, or whether or not they would even email you for that particular information. Also look at the email addresses that the email is coming from, because if it's not coming from that creditor's or that company's actual website, then it could be a scammer. Usually scammers are going to be using email addresses that do not match that actual company. Also, the spelling within the email might have some grammar mistakes. So really pay attention to emails, because you want to make sure it's not a phishing email. Text messages as well. Scammers are texting, are sending text messages and asking you to click on links that might lead you to a website that's going to ask you for your personal information. And then social media, you might have friends and families who get their social media accounts hacked, and then the scammers reach out to you asking you for money or asking you for personal information. So just be mindful of these different types of scams, and making sure that you're not giving your personal information out to any and everybody, or plugging that information into any websites or apps as well. Lastly, here are some debt management resources that you can use as you are going through a debt management payoff plan, as well as maintaining and managing your debts. Annual credit report is a website where you can get your all 3 credit reports for free. You should be able to pull it. During COVID, they allowed you to pull it multiple times, but I would have to check and see if they've gone back to once a year. So usually they'll allow you to pull your credit report once a year for free. But like I said, during COVID, they allowed individuals to pull their credit reports more often. So when you go to the website, you can check and see like how often you can pull your credit report on there. But they do allow you to pull all 3 credit bureaus. Next is Experian.com. So Experian, they do provide their credit report for free, as well as their FICO score. If you would like to track and review the other 2 credit reports, they do charge a fee for that. And then next is My FICO. My FICO will provide your Equifax credit score and credit report for free. If you want to see the other two credit bureaus, then you'll have to pay a monthly fee to get the other two credit bureau score and credit reports, but they do provide Equifax for free. Credit Karma is a website to monitor TransUnion and Equifax credit history for free. They do provide a score, but they provide a Vantage score. Vantage score is going to be totally different from your FICO score. FICO is the score that most lenders and creditors, even like if you're applying for an apartment complex or any entity that's going to look at a credit score, the majority of them are going to pull your FICO score. So you're definitely going to want to know what your FICO score is. But Credit Karma is good for monitoring your credit history. So monitoring the content of your Equifax and your TransUnion credit report. Also, keep in mind, like if there's any fluctuations in your Vantage score, then most likely there's going to be changes in your FICO score. So you definitely, if you're just using Credit Karma and you see your credit score reducing, your Vantage score reducing, you're definitely going to want to go and check your FICO score, because that means your FICO score is probably reducing or increasing too. It's just those actual numbers are going to be totally different. Lastly, online banking and credit card statements. So some banks and credit card companies, they do provide you with your FICO or CreditWise credit score. So you can check and see if they provide that information for free. Again, check and see which credit score that they're giving you, because FICO and CreditWise are going to be two totally different credit scores. So if you're going through the process of wanting to apply for mortgage lenders or any other lenders or credit cards, or if you're applying for any company that utilizes the credit score, you're definitely going to want to know what your FICO score is, because most companies, they do not look at the Vantage or CreditWise score. But again, Vantage and CreditWise are good for educational purposes. And if you see fluctuations of your Vantage score and your CreditWise score, then it's good to know that your FICO score is changing as well. It's just all three numbers are going to be totally different. And again, an option for credit counseling is Money Management International. And then Ms. Perry, she provided another option that she had that she has used in the past for credit counseling services. And then for free financial coaching, Family Houston is an option for free financial coaching. And I'm gonna go over like how we can help with your debt management plan in just a second. Is there any questions?
There aren't any there aren't any in the chat, and I don't see any on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, there was one here. What do you do
Okay.
in the case when debt is accumulated by family members, especially those compromising my credit cards?
So are they meaning they have authorized users?
They
Is it like they stole the credit cards and used the credit cards?
They do not say, however, the person submitted this is a retired senior citizen. So I imagine it's probably family members that's gotten a hold of their credit card.
Okay. Well, in that case, if they weren't given authorization to use the credit cards, then you're gonna have to look into going through the identity theft process. And I mean, it's unfortunate when it's a family member because to go through the process of identity theft or to report fraud with your credit cards, you're going to have to get a police report, which means that you're going to have to report the person using that card, because that's the only way the credit card company is going to believe that it was not you. So you're definitely gonna have to report the identity theft, and you'll have to get a police report. Which that it makes it hard when it's a family member or a close friend, because normally you don't want to get them in trouble. But these days you're gonna have to have that police report in order to prove to creditors that your identity was stolen or your credit cards were used without your knowledge.
There's a question here. It says, how do I make an attainable budget plan and save money? Do you recommend for somebody that's not comfortable with creating a budget, or, knowing that they put together a plan, to actually like contact someone like you to help them with getting that plan in place?
Yeah, I do. I recommend working with a financial coach, because with financial coaches, we're gonna help you create the budget plan. So we're gonna have the different tools to help you create the budget plan, as well as we're gonna track your progress, and then we're gonna be there for to hold you accountable to whatever that plan is. And if you're someone like you're not comfortable with how, or you might not know how to create the plan, then it's like you have a second person there to help you. But one thing that we don't do, we don't give advice and we don't tell you what to do. But we do provide the education and the tools to make it easier for you to create a budget plan, as well as create a debt payoff plan. And then we provide that accountability, but we're not going to tell you what to do. Like, I'm not going to tell you like which credit card to pay off first, or how much you should pay, how much extra you should pay. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'm there to help you create a plan that fits how you want to pay your debts off, and then hold you accountable to it.
Yeah. And that's the difference between the counselor and the coach. The coach is kind
Yes.
of there to help you guide along for you to figure out what your plan is and let me help you put it together. But a counselor is going to tell you, okay, this is a counselor counsels the issue, the coach counsels the person. So
Yes. And then an advisor tell you what to do. So if you want someone to tell you what to do, you're probably going to want a finance advisor. And you would want to talk to a financial advisor. I forgot what the other one is. There's another one that you can use to manage your finances for you, but I can't think of the actual title.
Well, you can always get yourself, just find an accountability partner. If you know that you've got a sister or a cousin or somebody that's good with money, here, hold on to this for me, or make sure, here's the money, make sure this gets paid for me. Because if I keep it, I know, you just got to figure out kind of what's better for you. So,
you know what? It's a manager. It's a personal financial manager, but I might be getting the titles wrong. But basically what they do, they manage people's finances for them, and they tell them how to spend their money. So they like create the budget plans and everything for them, and tell them how to spend their money to meet whatever that goal is. Usually that's something that people with very, very high incomes use, because they need help managing their money. But for those of us who can't afford money managers, then we have financial coaches available. And at Family Houston, our financial coaching service is free. There are financial coaches that charge you a monthly payment, and that can be a few $100s a month. But Family Houston, we do offer that service for free. And again, we can help you create a budget plan. I prefer to help my client create their budget plan based on their bank statements and their transaction history, because I want you to get those accurate numbers and really kind of sit down and analyze how you spend your money, to make sure that you're creating a budget plan that's gonna work for you. Again, I'm not gonna tell you how to create your budget plan, because you're going to create your budget plan based on what your lifestyle is, because I'm not living your life. But I do want to make sure that you do create that plan to be able to meet whatever financial goal that you're trying to meet. Nestle, when it comes to getting out of debt, I can help you with the debt reduction calculator. I can help you go over different options to get out of debt, and then create a plan that fits that budget that we already created. And then I track your progress. So every time I follow up with you, I will be asking you about your progress. And then that's also part of that accountability. When it comes to increasing your credit score, we're going to help you strategize ways to build your credit score. So first and foremost, educate you how to build your credit score and what and credit builder options. If you already have like debts that you're paying, then we'll discuss like what on your credit report is affecting your credit history and what changes you can make to increase your credit score. And again, we're going to be there to create that plan and then hold you accountable. Next is building your savings. So using your budget and a budget plan to create an amount that you want to save per month, and then coming up with saving goals, and then again tracking that progress and holding you accountable to put in the funds into your savings account. Also going over different options for savings to maximize the amount of savings and the amount of interest you're earning on your savings. And then lastly, just getting you prepared to buy a house or car. I used to work for an auto loan program here at Family Houston. So I'm a little knowledgeable on like the car buying process and getting ready to purchase a car. Also, like when it comes to buying a house, then understanding like where you need to be credit wise, where do you need to be with your budget. Also like getting in touch with different home buyer resources, as well as home buyer education. Then I'll provide those resources and tools to you to get ready to purchase a home. And again, provide that accountability to make sure that you are going through and keeping staying on track with the process of being successful with whatever your financial goal is. And this is how to schedule with a financial coach. You can visit familyhouston.org to schedule an appointment. If you go to familyhouston.org, you will go to the program drop down, select financial stability. And from the financial stability page, you will see links to complete our intake form. We do have it in English and Spanish. Once that intake form is completed, then it will be sent to a financial coach based on your zip code. Unless you indicate on the intake form that you want to meet with a particular coach. We do have multiple coaches. I cover Fort Bend and Central Houston. We have a financial coach in South Houston going towards Galveston, so the Bay Area. Then we have a financial coach in Katy, Waller area. So we do have multiple coaches that if you would like to meet with a coach based on where you live. Otherwise, you can indicate the name of the coach that you would like to meet with. And then on the screen, if you can see our screen, you can scan this QR code, and the QR code is going to take you to our intake survey as well. Here's my contact information. Again, my name is Monet Cheney. I'm a senior financial coach with Family Houston. If you would like to contact me, you can contact me via my Google Voice number. It's 832-987-2023. And you can actually call or text that number, or you can email me, and my email is mchaney@familyhouston.org. So that's MCHENEY@familyhouston.org. That is all I have.
All righty. I did put the link for the Vertex, the debt reduction calculator in the chat. But I will also include it in the email that I sent out of the link of this recording for those who want to go back and view it or share it with someone else. They may find this information to be beneficial as well. One thing I do want to point out is that all of the workshops within this financial capability series is for those folks who feel like they have a need to kind of get a hold of their finances or want to make some kind of a change. It's not for us to tell you guys what you have to do or what you should be doing with your life, with your finances and things of that nature. If there is a change that you would like to implement, then the structure or the outline for this particular program is just for you to do just that, to kind of give you a plan or like a little layout, some tips of what it is that you can do to change your current financial situation according to whatever goal it is that you want to set for yourself. So again, it's not for us or for anybody else to try to tell you how you should be spending your money and how your lifestyle should be and so on and so forth. That judgment is not us, for us to place upon you guys. So we are here as a tool, as a resource, as a guide for you to make whatever change it is within your life that you choose to so make. Me personally, I know that with all of these workshops and things that we have, there's always some bit of information that I'm taking away to kind of implement into, because I completely forgot about this debt reduction calculator, because I'm after this past graduations and whatnot, I done started, credit card bills coming in. Like, yeah, I got to go ahead and get back on my budget. And don't let, for whatever reason, whenever we talk about budget, people always assume budget is like a bad word. It's like a faux pas. Budget means restricted and limited and what you have to take back and stop doing and things like that. When budget is not a bad word, a budget is just a plan. That's all a budget is. It's just a plan to kind of help you with outlining what it is that you want to do to accomplish whatever goal you want to accomplish. So do keep that in mind, and that it will take time. Like Monet said, that, don't be in a rush to, think that your debts are going to disappear overnight, because you didn't accumulate your debts overnight. So just take your time and don't stress yourself out. Just know that it can be done. Just stay diligent, stay focused on what it is that you want to do or what you're trying to do. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in or for joining us this afternoon. We do hope that you found this information to be beneficial. We are off for our financial series for the month of July and for August. And I believe, let me see, we will be back in September with living benefits and insurance, creating your own GoFundMe. The workshops within this series are always the first Wednesday of each month from 4 to 6 p.m. So September the 4th is when we'll be back. October the 2nd, we will have our savings and establishing a rainy day fund. And November the 6th, we have our holiday spending presentations. So we'll be back with those in the fall. But again, if there are other workshops and things throughout the series that we don't currently offer, please feel free to reach out to Rachel and myself. Tomorrow we have our monthly wills and advanced legal planning and why do you need it presentation that's done by Lone Star Legal Aid at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So if you need the information about establishing an estate plan and all the documents that actually make up an estate plan, whether it's the actual will itself, the transfer on death deed, the statutory durable power of attorney, the HIPAA forms and things of that nature. All of those documents actually make up an estate plan. And we're going to be have an attorney to go over all of those documents, provide you all with the templates to create your own estate plan. If you are interested in doing that and and if you want to go through one of our legal service partners, you have the option to do that as well. And then next Tuesday, we have, no, we canceled that one. Sorry, take that one off. Never mind. What do we got coming up next week? And then clearing title for inherited property we have coming up next week, as well as our first time homebuyer education class that's scheduled for next Saturday. So if you go to the website at nrcdc.org to the events page, you will see the complete list of the calendar of all of the a month of service presentations that we've got scheduled for this month. So again, thank you, Monet and Family Houston, for your continued support, your continued effort, your continued volunteerism to be here and provide this information to the community on our behalf. We really, really appreciate you and can't thank you enough. So Rachel, is there anything else that you guys have coming up that you want to make an announcement about or anything? You're on mute. Okay.
Yeah. As far as the Department of Neighborhoods is concerned, we are still hosting, as Nia mentioned, you could take a part of it. We are still hosting will clinics on a monthly basis. After tomorrow's presentation, you'll receive information where you can take a pre-assessment to determine your eligibility with one of our partners to receive free or low cost estate plan. So we do that on a monthly basis, but also with the Department of Neighborhoods, we are hosting a forum in District E. For those individuals that live in District E, we'll be hosting a forum along with several departments within our city to talk about what the Department of Neighborhoods is responsible for, as well as what other departments, the proper procedures and policies to take to, learn from what they do, what they don't do, what's the process of reporting things, addressing issues and concerns in the department. So that will be in District D in person on June 27th. So we will be putting that information out on our social media, on our website, etc. So you should be able to, and it's open, even though it's in District E, it's open to the public. So if you live within the city limits in any district, we encourage you to come out.
What time is that on the 27th?
It will be from 6:30 to 8.
Okay. All right. All right. So look for that information to come as well. So you guys have a wonderful remainder of your evening. Get home safely. If you have not made it home yet, take care of yourselves and be careful. And we will see you all next time. Thank you very much, Ms. Perry. We appreciate your input.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Have a
Have a
good one.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Good evening.